Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Spyro for Year of the Dragon, Part 30. We're at the part we're going to be pretty much playing Agent 9 3D. It's Wolfenstein 3D, but we're playing as Agent 9, and we're going into a venue where we're going to be fighting against an oppressive force. An oppressive force that's taking over this entire level. These Japanese ninja warriors are taking over a very Chinese-looking venue, a Chinese-looking level. We're gonna fight against these oppressors with our infinite laser gun that just shoots out these laser beams that ricochet off, these continual laser beams that just ricochet off the walls. And ninjas always seem intimidating at first. Once you fire at them like this, you could decimate a whole legion of them in the blink of an eye. Those ninjas didn't stand a chance against us. This first-person shooter, it's one of the easiest first-person shooters imaginable. We have unlimited ammo, but why would you need different weapons? We only have one weapon too, but why would you need different weapons when you just have infinite ammo? Just blast these ninja assassins and just go down like they're nothing. They're some of the worst ninjas ever. Ninjas are supposed to be, supposed to be able to hide so you don't see them until it's too late, but these ninjas clearly fail at that. They probably made this mode in first person on purpose, so you won't be able to see the ninjas sneaking up on you when they want to go and cut off your head or something like that. I mean, these are vile assassins after all. Of course they're going to be wanting to do stuff like that. But it was kind of a lost opportunity on their part because these ninjas, well, they're some of the worst ninjas ever. That's why they get killed very easily. And this is the only time in the game that I know of where it actually feels like we're playing Wolfenstein 3D. And we could even jump in this mode too. It's pretty much just the same thing we've always done with Agent 9, but it's in first person. Yeah, first person Agent 9. The game suddenly decided to be a first person shooter out of the blue, just like Wolfenstein 3D, and a bit like Disruptor, which is never first person shooter Insomniac Games made years earlier. I don't know if they ever made any first person shooters after this, or maybe they did, I don't know. I know there was a mode in Ratchet & Clank Going Commando where you could play the game in first person, but almost no one ever uses that mode. Why would you play a game like that in first person? Same reason why no one played the original Twisted Metal in first person either. It's such a nauseating experience to play a game like that in first person, where you get thrown around. Imagine there was a mod or a mode or something like that for this game that just lets you play the entire game in first person. Yeah, Spyro the Dragon in first person. What would that be like? I'm gonna go blast that thing. Yeah, we're still full of health. 100 units of health. I can strafe too. It's nice to give us the ability to strafe. It really does feel like I'm playing Wolfenstein 3D, only it's superior to Wolfenstein 3D. You can actually aim upwards and shoot stuff on the ceiling, and jump as I mentioned earlier. I remember showing Wolfenstein 3D and Doom to a kid I knew in middle school a long time ago, and he thought those games were very lame. Because the graphics they said the graphics are really bad, and you can't jump in those games or throw grenades or really do anything really that's to him that's considered worthwhile. Yeah, I bet no one complained about Wolfenstein 3D and Doom back in 1992, 1993 when those games were new. They were pretty revolutionary. This game was pretty revolutionary too when it first came out. This probably is the most advanced game that I know of that came out in the year 2000. It's far more advanced than pretty much every other game I know of that came out at the time too. Banjo-Tooie might be a close rival. A lot of people don't seem to like Banjo-Tooie as much for some reason. A lot of people don't seem to like Donkey Kong 64 that much either. I loved Donkey Kong 64 when I was a kid. I still play it every now and then. I don't play it as much as I used to, mostly because it's a bit of a chore sometimes to get through all of that. It's a game I like to play when I have a lot of time to play a game, which I don't really have as much time for games anymore. And when I do want to play games, I want to play something I'm more familiar with and is easier for me to play through, like Spyro 3. Everyone loves Spyro 3, right? Oh sure, everyone loves Spyro, except for that snowman that mocked Spyro in the Spyro 2 commercial, because he got his head ripped off. I mean, that's pretty easy considering the fact that Spyro breathes fire and easily could have melted that snowman like he was nothing. He melts these little snowmen sometimes and they spawn. They spawn butterflies for Sparks to eat. I like to think Sparks is probably with us too, even though you don't see Sparks with us in this first person mode. You can hear that sound Sparks makes when he picks up a gem. That iconic sound. Patty, there we go, Patty. Patty is a fatty, has a face like of a ratty or something like that. Her face is kind of ratty. I always get that song from the original Diary of a Wimpy Kid wrong, when Greg Heffley downright insults Patty. She kind of deserves it considering how much of a jerk she becomes later on. She is one of the biggest jerks in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and that's saying a lot because that series is full of jerks. They should have called it Jerks sometimes. You know, there's a movie called Clerks. They could have easily made a parody of it called Jerks. That's what the movie should have been called, considering the fact that Randall works at the store, but he does such a sucky job at doing his job. He definitely said there's one person in the world that sucks at doing their job. It's Randall from the Clerks movies. He hasn't been. It's like he fails to open up the video store on time, and so has something to return. And it's like, oh well, it's late now, so you have to pay the late fee for it all because of Randall's fault. Even he admits he doesn't even shop at his own store because it sucks. Yeah, there's a jerk thing to do. There's even a movie called The Jerk, I think, that starred Steve Martin. That's one of my favorite Steve Martin movies. I'm glad I have that on DVD. Yeah, I'm glad I have everything on DVD pretty much, considering how large my DVD collection is, to a point where I have to have a huge wooden shelf to store all of them. There's a real life friend of mine that I think it's impressive that I have such a big DVD collection. He also didn't like Crash Bandicoot 2 that much. I introduced him to Crash Bandicoot 2. He didn't really seem that enthusiastic about it. I don't know. A lot of people don't seem enthusiastic about old games. Some people don't even consider old games to be real games. That same kid I was mentioning earlier, he thinks I waste my time by playing these old games. Yeah, boy, he doesn't know that old games had charm. I remember in 2011 going on rants about why I would much rather play this than any of the Call of Duty games that are out nowadays. And that was back in like 2011 or 2012 when I was playing these Spyro games. I still think that to this day. I still stand by my opinion. I still think I was in the right for saying that. Yeah, Call of Duty was like new stuff back then. Now those games are considered retro now too. Yeah, more the reason why every day I feel more of my skin, more wrinkles are forming on my skin. And I can feel my hair turning gray as well too, and starting to go bald a little bit and thinning. Yeah, I probably know it. I'm gonna be bald and wrinkly. Well, you won't be able to tell. Is that Ray Phoenix or is that my grandpa? I don't know. I can't tell them apart. We're just going back to beginning the level now, trying to rescue Hansel from that Rhinoc that's strapped into a bomb, and then all these ninjas just suddenly spawned in again. And these individual ninjas don't give you gems when you kill them, but you do get gems from destroying that depot thing they spawn from. The depot, of course they spawn from a depot. What else do they spawn from? I don't think there's anything else. Oh look, there are some stuff hiding in there. There's more ninjas. But I have those perseverance skills that I have where you can just walk around and, ooh, there we go, more of these guys. Yeah, at least they're giving me a challenge for once. If blasting all these guys dead, I'll break you dead. I'll break these guys dead just by blasting at them. Yeah, this is a lot better than Wolfenstein 3D. I never get lost when I play this, but I get lost all the time when I play Wolfenstein 3D. That's why I don't like that game as much. I mean, sure, it's a classic. Yeah, it does have its moments, but I don't really think it's one of the best games ever. It's kind of overrated sometimes. I think it was just like a revolutionary thing at the time, which is why so many people love it. And probably at the time when there weren't as many good games back then. Yeah, what else are you going to play when you're at work and you have your computer workstation set up and you have time to kill? What else are you going to do? Play Minesweeper? Surely it's more fun than playing Minesweeper, right? Almost anything's more fun than playing that or Solitaire. Solitaire has been done to death. I mean, I still like playing Solitaire to this day. I don't really like the new one they have with the newer versions of Windows. I like playing like the Windows XP era Solitaire. Whenever I take out the Windows XP computer and play around with it, I always like to play a game of Solitaire here and there and watch that animation it makes when you win. It plays a lengthy animation, all the cards from the different decks all falling and making a nice, beautiful, abstract masterpiece on your screen. I got the fireworks factory 100% cleaned out. Now it's time to clean out another level. The Lost Fleet. Yeah, the most lost level in the entire game. Feels like something that should have remained lost, maybe. It's not one of the best levels in the game. And oddly enough, I think the music it plays in the Evening Lake level of Homeworld, that Homeworld music, I think it actually would have fit this level a lot better, because that's very ominous and mysterious, and this just plays a slightly different version of Sheila's theme. We're using that new ability that Sparks has now where you press the shoulder buttons, and then Sparks is going to look at where the nearest gem is. I think there's still some gems in this level I didn't collect the first time around. I typically don't bother to collect all the gems in the levels when I know the level's impossible to 100% complete in one go. And this level, it was, at least for me, it was impossible because Hunter was captured the first time he came here, and now Hunter isn't captive anymore. So we could go run through here and find Hunter, do the challenge with him, and then we could clean out this level. clean up the level, clean up an aisle lost fleet, that's the level we're in. Or if they say that at some of those convenience stores I've been watching in Korea, the algorithms recently have been recommending me videos of people making ramen at Korean convenience stores. Man, ramen's such a big deal in South Korea, and it's also a big deal like that in Japan apparently too. I'll probably go to Japan at some point in the not too distant future. Who knows, I might start a new life there. I'll finally bring Spyro free to Japan, a game that people in Japan sadly couldn't play. But something tells me there already is a way to play Spyro free in Japan, so I'm not really introducing them to anything new. I mean, I could play Ori no Ryori here in America pretty well, so I guess people in Japan could play Spyro free there then. Because no one really cares about where something was released in the world of, getting all your games and playing them in the world where you can just get anything you want whenever you want, with very little restrictions. No hunters around here somewhere. I know there's more gems around here somewhere too. Gems. I have some gems hiding. I don't think there's any gems hiding in this stream of acid. The stream of acid would instantly fry us to death if we didn't have this shield ability equipped. There's all these enemies just going crazy and killing all these enemies. These enemies aren't really giving me anything. I already killed them before, so I already got the gems from them. They don't give you spirit particles like they did in Spyro 2. There's no real way for me to keep track of how many enemies there are in this level, and how many I killed versus how many remain. I don't think anyone really cared about that. I don't think these enemies necessarily respawn either. I don't think they do. And Sparks is telling me there's more gems over here. I don't know, maybe these gems are hiding somewhere so intricate and so elaborate I wouldn't really think to look there. And Sparks doesn't really give specific details of where gems are, but you expect Sparks, he's just a dragonfly that speaks his own language. I think this is the first time I've heard Sparks actually speak in a Spyro game. The language is like dragonfly language. No one can understand it but Spyro. I mean, it's his own unique language. Like the Pootie Tang where he speaks his own language. Maybe something like that. His own dialect, his own slang. And there we go, we see Hunter, now the skateboard guy, is going to challenge us to a skateboard race against these Rhinox, and we have to beat the Rhinox, and we get, what do you think we'll be getting? Another egg, of course, and that's what we're going to be getting. Yeah, Molten Crater, referencing other levels in the game. I just love the synergy that these games have. They mention other parts of the game in their own game. Like they mentioned Seashell Shore, or they mentioned, or in a later level in Spyro 2, they mentioned Skelos Badlands and the Colossus Valley in some of the later levels. Well, the Colossus level in that game. All these Spyro games love to reference themselves in their own games. A lot of gems in these levels too, so I just like to play for the race first. Not necessarily try to win, but try to collect all the gems. We're still expected to collect every single gem to get the game 100% complete. So I'll be collecting as many gems, and gems of course always stay permanently collected. These challenges are no exception. Won't find every single gem hiding around here. Some red gems there, and mostly red and green gems I think. Yeah, red and green, and then there's the purple gems they like to hide in here too. And those crates, those not really crates, they're like those basket things. I'm not even sure those things are really called. I'm not sure they have a real name. Quite frankly, I don't think they were ever given a name because no one really cares about that. It's also official now. Spyro 3 is now the longest game I've ever Let's Played. This Let's Play is now officially has more videos than the game that had the most amount of videos before. The Let's Play did that the most amount of videos before I did this game, which was Ape Escape 3, and that was 3.5 years ago. Oh yeah, 3.5 years ago is when I Let's Played Ape Escape 3. In hindsight, I should have waited a bit until I got the Korean version. Then I could have Let's Played that. That would have been an interesting thing to watch. And then by then I had a better PS2 emulator too. It didn't crash as much. That would have been pretty cool, but it still turned out really good as it was. It was the American version. It's the version I've always known about and always had. I don't think it's worth redoing the entire Let's Play just for those small, minor things. Those minor, nitpicky things. The Korean version of that game was considered lost media until last September when someone uploaded it to archive.org, thanks to my influence, on a Discord server, which has now just been closed down. Quite a shame, actually. That was a really good Discord server. with Lost Media Discord server. It's a lot better than the official Lost Media Discord server. That server sucks. But this server was actually a lot better because it's by people that actually care about Lost Media and care about actually finding things and preserving things. Yeah, it's quite a shame that the good guys are always the ones that die young, and the bad guys are the ones that always outlive the good guys. I guess that gives meaning to when they say you'll live long enough to see yourself become a villain or die a hero. It's doing the tricks. It's doing tricks makes you earn more power. This is a little bit like Wipeout. It's also a lot like the racing segments from the original Ratchet and Clank. Very similar to this. They're almost the same thing, but it's set in Ratchet and Clank rather than Spyro. Oh, Spyro, welcome! I remember when they used to say stuff like that to Spyro. You also fry them too. You could fry down these Rhinox too, and then they end up seemingly end up like eliminated from the match. There are eliminations apparently. Not sure if they respawn at all. Maybe they do respawn. This so far back into the race that look, that guy crashed into the wall. He hit the wall. Now we're in first place. I thought this was going to be a mega challenge, but it's not. I mean, the bonus levels are going to have some things that are challenging like this, but even more challenging possibly. Spyro gets to do more tricks and gain his ability to gain more speed power-up stuff. These aren't really enough speed power-ups already in the level, and these are the same ones they used in the flying levels. They call them the speedway levels. Whoa, a bit of a Wipeout there. Yeah, there's more Wipeouts in this than there are in Wipeout. Yeah, Wipeout if it were a skateboarding game with Spyro in it. I don't know if the Tony Hawk games have racing moments like this. And then again, I never played any of those Tony Hawk games. I never really care about playing the Tony Hawk games anyway, so I guess I'll just never know the answer to that. But I'm winning right now. I seem to be beating everyone else in an extreme long shot. Extreme landslide win, which is what I'm going to be granted most likely after this. I'm still not going to be cocky though. I'm going to be trying to gain as much speed as I can, and I think I just won. I mailed it in and I just won. Yes, I won. I schooled him like a bunch of dizzy one-tub sand. That sounds like an insult. That sounds like something that would probably get him flagged in today's day and age. I rescued someone named Oliver. I'm pretty sure we already rescued an Oliver in this game. I don't know, every name sounds familiar now. I've heard this name so many times. It always seems like I've seen it before or heard it before somewhere else now. Nothing is truly original anymore, right? Now he's going to offer me to do a race, which we'll be doing in the next part, the next video. Ray Phoenix, signing out.